PT State of the Race, what the Naira redesign means for Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso. Well, we see that observers believe that the change of the Naira notes in the middle of the campaigns for the 2023 elections will reduce the impact of illicit money on the polls. Thank you for joining us once again on the channel. Today we bring you the report on what the Naira redesign actually means for the presidential candidates of the various parties. Well, before we get into the details in full, please do well to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And for all of our existing subscribers, please don't forget to always give us a thumbs up on our posts as they come your way. Well, let's get into the details. It says, since Wednesday, when the Central Bank of Nigeria announced that it is redesigning the 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes and will withdraw the current notes from circulation over a 6-week period ending on January 31st, 2023, there have been excitement about how the measure may affect the 2023 general elections, which begin less than 4 weeks later on February 25th. It is not clear whether that is one of the intentions of the Apex Bank, but a sudden change of banknotes in the middle of electioneering and so close to the polls is a potential silver bullet for some of the stubborn problems which slow down electoral reform in Africa's largest democracy. So how far can the measure impact the presidential poll? Another source of excitement in the past week was the announcement by INEC of the final figures of registered voters. Although the new figures, including the total voting population of 93.5 million, bringing no major surprise with respect to the spread of voters across the state and the 6 geopolitical regions, the announcement will force some observers to take fresh looks at their permutations for the flagship presidential election. Announcing the planned redesign of the high-denomination Naira notes at a press briefing in Abuja on Wednesday, the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, who himself controversially nibbled the presidential election bait earlier this year, said it is aimed at checking counterfeiting and hoarding of the Naira. The currency has recorded significant erosion of its exchange value in recent years on the watch of the CBN boss. Mr. Emefiele said that statistics available to the Apex Bank showed that over 80% of the Naira in circulation were being held outside the vaults of commercial banks. He said as of September 2022, a total of 3.2 trillion Naira was in circulation, but 2.73 trillion Naira of this was outside bank vaults, a development he said was unacceptable. Among the prime suspects for hoarding the Naira outside the banking system are politicians who will need vast sums of money this election season to fund their campaigns and buy votes on election days. With INEC continually applying technology in the management of elections, it has become increasingly more difficult to manipulate elections in Nigeria. The introduction of the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS, last year for accreditation of voters on election day, as well as the real-time electronic transmission of results from polling units, have eliminated some old habits, such as the underage voting, impersonation of voters, mass thumbprinting of ballot papers, and snatching of ballot boxes. It has also bolstered the integrity of Nigerian polls. But the salutary development has only forced politicians to embrace vote buying at polling units, as seen in many off-season elections held after the 2019 general election. Efforts by the security agencies and the EFCC to check the menace have largely failed, most glaringly in the high-stake governorship elections which was held in Anambra, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, and Osun states. Many observers have prescribed that vote buying can be best checked up the supply chain by tracking and stopping the movement of large volumes of cash from the banks, especially by politicians and those who work for them. However, as stated by Mr. Emefiele on Wednesday, huge sums of money are already hoarded and being laundered outside the banking system, which makes that prescription inefficacious. Therefore, the CBN and the EFCC have vowed to closely monitor the banks in the transition to the new banknotes with a view to intercepting the black money as they are brought out in exchange for the new notes. If that monitoring process of the authorities succeeds, it will erode the capacity of politicians to mobilize cash for vote buying in February and March of next year, with the result being the outcomes of the elections reflecting the will of the electorate. The media and other election monitors have always fingered the parties in government at the various levels as the main perpetrators of vote buying, which they transact with stolen public funds. The elimination of that malice will thus remove another major hurdle on the parts of candidates of the opposition and minor parties and significantly level the playing field. The main beneficiaries of that prospect in the presidential election will without doubt be Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Rabiu Kwankwaso of the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP) and the candidates of the 14 other minor parties. Although the Labour Party and the NNPP standard bearers are themselves die-in-the-wool politicians like their opponents of the APC and PDP, they are virtually running as independent candidates in this election because of their party's weak or lack of roots and structures in many parts of the country. However, money remains a big factor in elections here as anywhere else, as acknowledged by the chairman of Labour Party, Julius Abure, on Friday while inaugurating the reconstituted Presidential Campaign Council of the party in Abuja. He said that the party needs money to prosecute the campaigns and appealed for donations from his supporters. Even with the change of Naira notes, threatening the capacity of politicians to deploy large sum of money for electioneering, some will still have more money than others. Their superior war chest is one of the reasons why many still see this race to be principally between the APC and the PDP candidates, despite the exploits of Messrs. Obi and Kwankwaso on the field. Now that is the details of this report. We see that how the Naira is actually going to change this electioneering process. So we see that it's being done at a time very close to the elections, and it is believed that politicians that have actually hoarded large sums of cash before now will not be able to use that, and then when they are trying to replace them for the new notes, they'll be able to monitor and see those that actually planned to actually buy votes on election days. Well, until we come your way again next time with more reports, stay blessed. Bye-bye.